Welcome back, scale racing fans. Hobbit Racing Park, we are making big progress here. Just going to show a quick example of some of the work that we're doing here to bring the braid back together. If you read our description, you'll find out that this track was transitioned from one home to another. And if you look not too closely, you can see where we made cross sections very carefully with a circular saw, and we've since rejoined the sections. There is a piece of MDF underneath here. You can barely see some marks where we put short screws through it, put some putty over the top of it and repainted. This may even get some touch up. Tried to produce the same surface as it was previously, but as you can see, the remaining piece here to literally tie the track back together is, to get our braids back together. So you can see I've already done a lot of preparation. Recap here, a couple of the things that were done with the braids. We had to pull them back far enough, of course, to fit a circular saw on here. And on one side of that circular saw, you've got your leading edge, which is only a couple inches wide, and then on the other side, you've got the big fat part of the saw. So we had to pull back the braid with enough room depending on the angle that we were cutting at for each individual section, and then we brought it back together. And so then we had quite a bit of braid to pull back, but we also needed to cut enough of each section off so that we could create a drop down below and tie this together with our trusty wire nuts. I have taken all that into consideration and joined the track back together. There are 7 sections that came back together. Therefore 16 braids in the 4 lanes per. All of these braids were essentially taken by hand, and simply the best feel that I felt like doing was rubbing off the old 3M double-sided tape that came pre-mounted to the braid before it was put in the track. Subsequently, you have a roll of double-sided tape not attached to any braid, and we're simply laying it in line, figuring out where we stop removing the old as to not go too far. You can see the braid is very, very well attached to the track where we didn't peel back too far, and laying it in line. If it doesn't work out the first time, sometimes there's a little bit of a curve or an undulation, just get a new piece. Make sure it's laid down flat. I like to try and activate it before I'm ready to put a braid piece through the track. Got my roller right here ready. We need to. And really that's about it. You've got it cleaned off. I did clean these with acetone. Something, mild, but still enough to remove any extra that I might have missed, or maybe there's still even some right there hanging on. But in any event, this has been cleaned over with acetone so that we should get a really nice surface to stick back to on our 3M tape as if it was there originally. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I do one. All I'm doing is getting a rough idea. Made my line. Way. Try to handle this as little as possible. Grab the edges. If you grab that part, it's over. It's pretty much over for you. So definitely handle the edges of this. I'm going to go ahead and get it up against the edge of the gain. That's where we're going to start, up against the edge. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but we want that exposed. We want the inside edge of the slot exposed. And I'm going to come back here and I'm just going to eyeball it by looking over the top. This particular spot has a little bit of an undulation before it makes its way to the connection point. So I'm going to try and do my best to move along with that curve. There's my curve right there. Slowly make my way against that edge of that gain, and we'll dip anything we have left into the slot, and we'll deal with that later. Just take a drill bit and get that down inside of there. Really do a good job of getting that to stick. Not so much that you won't come back over it with your braid roller, but just so that you don't have to deal with anything sticking up when you're laying your braid down. Of course, when you're laying your braid down, which we'll talk about in a little bit, Our goal is to simply lay it right back where it came from. No stretching, no pulling, no pushing. Get it back even to where it was the same appearance and thickness, as we don't want to put extra stress on the braid itself. We'll do that one more time. If we can find the end. There we go. That looks about right. Oh, I almost did it. I almost touched the underside of it while I was working on that one. Again, we'll find the line we've drawn, already previously marked with a pencil. Oh, I did it again. It rolled over to my finger. Try and get that up against the edge of the gain. Here's where I've got that little undulation back here. And I'm going to try and feather my way through and move that 3M tape up against the gain and keep it away from the middle. If any extra ends up towards the middle of the slot, you can always get that off with your finger as you're pressing it into place with the braid roller, and that's, happens over time anyway. Sometimes it even shows up on this side of the braid. But the important part, the critical part, and when you're putting this down, and especially when you're putting the braid down, maybe not so much the 3M tape, but even when you're putting braid down in general, the braid has got to lay against the edge of the gain and stay away from, you must maintain this reveal. If your braid were to hang over the edge, your guide flag would obviously hit it, and then you would start to fray that braid. Really going to make sure these are down. Doing this, of course, heating it up is only going to activate even better the side that I'm going to deal with. Not that this 3M tape needs any activation. Slot car corner. Thank you. And then I think we'll start furthest away just to save my back. So we'll go ahead and we'll just grab the edge of one of these. Pair of scissors here and just come in and get the edge of the tape. In fact, maybe I haven't done so well and I've, there it is. All right. Hopefully I don't get in the way too much here and can show you what's going on. I have a little bit of a fat spot there, so I'm going to pull on it just ever so slightly and first get it attached. And now I'm going to relieve my pull and just guide it back through there so we maintain that thickness. Hold up for just a moment, give myself a quick little twist. Get on through, and then I like to do something as I'm making my way through to ensure that I stay away from that little bit of relief. I'll put my finger right down there in what I believe is an eyeballed amount that maintains that relief, and I'll start to push this back down because I can always fix it from over here with my thumbnail, but if I do this, then I'm never going to end up with braid that comes near that relief. By hand should get it good for now until we come back with the roller when we have all four pieces in play. And it's essentially that. Rinse and repeat. Oh, I don't know. When I complete this, there'll be another 16 to go, and eventually that'll make 112 times that I've done that right there. But it's all for the love of this hobby, this sport, if you'll allow, that we all enjoy. So until next time on Hobbit Racing, we'll be back at Hobbit Racing Park hopefully soon to show a car finally traveling around this wonderful War Eagle River track. Like, subscribe, share.